Previously on Ryan Coolvids, I decided to go on a road trip to Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Joining me on this trip is my good friend Eric, a.k.a. Thez. And on day one, we drove from Detroit all the way to the tippy top of Michigan to a town called Copper Harbor. In the previous video, I mentioned that we are staying in Copper Harbor, the most northern town in Michigan. Well, here are some fun facts about Copper Harbor. The town is considered an unincorporated township, and depending on who you ask, the population here is a total of 108 people. But despite the small population, this town is booming with visitors. And on day two, we were ready to explore the area. But first, we had to leave our fancy cabin, because unfortunately, we only had the reservation for one night. But that's okay. We ended up just switching over to the place down the street. After we switched places, we were ready to hike. Now, to give you all a good idea on why we came up here, the Upper Peninsula is filled with a wide range of different landscapes, such as waterfalls, mountains, lakes, and it has a wide diversity of wildlife that include deer, bobcats, bear, and the occasional Bigfoot sighting. Yes, they spot him up here once in a while. And luckily, on this hike, I am led by expert hiker Thez. No, I'm just kidding. He was pretty chill.
Oh, well, hello there. Welcome to Manganese Falls. Right now we're on the trail, but in a little bit, we'll be heading up to the top of that waterfall over there.
We hiked for a few hours, and then we went back into town and got some lunch. Later that afternoon, a thunderstorm rolled in. But that was okay, because we just cracked open some beers and enjoyed the storm. For the most part, on day two, we just relaxed and enjoyed the quiet nature of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. But on day three, we were ready to do some major hiking. We are at Hunters Point Park, about to start our early morning hike. This right here is Lake Superior. And on the other side of Lake Superior is Canada. Lake Superior is the biggest of all the Great Lakes and the largest body of fresh water in the world. Basically, when you get down to it, it makes every other lake in the US look like a kiddie pool. And since we were on the coast, we just had to take some pictures. After a few pics, we continued to walk the trail. Eventually, we found an opening that took us into the woods.
Nature, baby. We're in nature. Getting eaten up by flies and enjoying the beautiful surroundings.
I am in the water. Across from where I'm standing is downtown Copper Harbor. Got a boat coming in. This is quite the view, folks. Not going to lie, my toes were freezing in that water. After we were done walking the trail, we headed back into town for some food and drinks. Then, in the afternoon, we drove to our next hiking spot. While we were at the lookout, you could see the town and beautiful green nature for miles. Okay, down there is Copper Harbor, and I can kind of see... I can kind of see where we're staying at. Just all the way down there. We then found a trail and started going up the hill. Once we got to the top, we made a shocking discovery. There was a cell tower out in the distance, so we just had to call our family. We literally had no cell service for days. Down here, and you're just gonna watch it just tumble.
That worked real well.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw this rock down, and yeah, that's one of the, okay, there we go.
There's people like all the way down there. We then walked back down to the overlook, and before we left, I had one last thing to do.
Hello, Copper Harbor!
That was classic. We eventually got back into town and got some food and beverages. Seriously, we drank Michigan craft beer all week. It was great. Once we finished dinner, the sun was starting to set, so we walked down to the dock to get a good view. It was without a doubt the greatest sunset I had ever watched. This was our final night in Copper Harbor. After 3 days of exploring the UP and enjoying the beautiful nature around us, we had to head back to the Lower Peninsula. But our journey back was a story for another time. All I want to do right now is watch this sunset.